I've been watching you. Come closer. Closer. 28 days. 6 hours. 42 minutes. 12 seconds. That is when the world will end.
Why?
What up, you guys? I'm Kent E.S. Larwill, and I'm a writer YouTuber who talks about everything from philosophy, politics, storytelling, and more. The easiest way to support what I do is to subscribe to this channel and like this video. It's free and takes a second to do. I rewatched a 2000s cult classic recently. To see the deranged mind of a young Jake Gyllenhaal struggle through youth, metaphysics, and his dead rabbit friend brought me back to a simpler time in my youth. For those of you who don't know, Donnie Darko is a movie about an odd kid who one morning is found sleeping on a golf course, likely due to sleepwalking. By surprise, he returns home to find that a huge airplane turbine had crashed into his room. He would have been killed in his bed if he didn't sleepwalk out of his house. This sets Donnie Darko on a spiritual, personal, and cosmic journey where he has to find meaning in a life which seems meaningless. Before we move on, I should note that I watched this for free on Tubi. If you're not aware, Tubi is a free-to-watch platform with lots of decent shows and movies. I'm not sponsoring them, but thought I'd give them a shout-out. Tubi, if you're watching, send me some of those dollary dues. There are a bunch of mini themes and social commentary addressed throughout the movie, such as the shortcomings of religious dogma, the shallowness of positive motivation, teen angst and sexual frustration, the belief in God, and fate. But if you were to ask me, I'd say the main theme of the movie resonates through death and the meaning of life. This is what Donnie Darko struggles with in the movie from beginning to end. Near the very beginning of the film, Donnie and his father almost run over an old lady standing out on the road, who locals have nicknamed Grandma Death. As Donnie gets out of the car to see if she's alright, she goes over to check her mailbox. With no mail in the mailbox, Donnie says, "Maybe some tomorrow," to which the old lady whispers in his ears, "We all die alone." These ominous words seem to unsettle Donnie for most of the movie. We see Grandma Death constantly going back to her mailbox again and again, but never any mail. Later on, when Donnie returns back to the old lady's house, he struggles to find her, but for some reason before he leaves, he turns to Grandma Death's mailbox and checks it. Sure enough, no mail, but that's when he spots the old coot standing over, looking at him, almost as if Donnie opened the mailbox, brought her forth. By the end of the movie, one of the final things Donnie does is write the old lady a letter. This mini side plot with the mailbox gives a great insight into the main themes of the movie. At first glance, we can see this as a regular sad old lady who has no family or friends, likely because they're all dead. Yet she still waddles her way to the mailbox, many times risking getting run over, just so she can find out that she has no mail. This alone would be a funny small slice of life moment, but the whole tone changes when Donnie checks the mailbox himself, almost as if he has the same inclination to check a box despite him knowing it's likely going to be empty. He's almost compelled to do it. This is the whole allegory for life itself. The youthful will focus so much on life being about receiving mail, and partially this is because in early life you receive so much. You receive school, receive growth as you grow up, receive new experiences, but as you get older these changes fade, and as you get to Grandma Death's age, this change is less and less exciting. You've been receiving a life of change, but nothing really changes anymore. So what do? The only thing you can do is keep checking the mailbox, even if you know no mail is coming. It's only when you get to that point do you realize life isn't receiving mail, it's checking the mailbox and accepting what is or isn't there. By the end of the movie, Donnie starts to come around to this way of thinking. but it goes a level deeper than this. We first find Grandma Death living alone, looking in her mailbox for connection. When she whispers in Donnie's ears, we all die alone. This aloneness defines much of what Donnie struggles with himself, but where Donnie reacts poorly to his struggle initially, he finally comes around and makes peace with the lonely aspects of life and death. This is demonstrated by him writing and sending a letter to Grandma Death in the end. In this act, he now understands that we all die alone, as we must live much of our lives alone. But that does not mean we cannot cherish the time we do get to share with one another. The closest thing to an antagonist is Frank. You know, the guy in the dead rabbit costume who keeps talking about the end of the world. But Frank could be described as nothing more than Donnie's thoughts projected back onto him. Frank is Donnie's frank opinions materialized back at him. His opinions about God, about people, about society, about death. In Donnie's conversations with Frank, we see the darker thoughts of Donnie Darko, but at the same time also see a clear-cut honesty which breathes fresh air into the narrative. Through Frank, Donnie rejects church dogma and the phony self-help fluff that the guru tries to spur on people, as he also rejects societal norms which are solely taken on good faith. With Frank, Donnie can cut through all the bullshit, but while unbridled, Donnie is left spiraling in his own negativity. Donnie finds a way to think for himself, but Frank's pull also makes Donnie destructive as he floods a school, sets fire to a house, and divulges deeper on a path of nihilism. It is this nihilism that defines the relationship between Donnie and Frank. As the dead bunny mask stares back at Donnie, Donnie is without a moral bound, ready to do whatever he feels will bring him joy, since death will come for us all anyways. Where Grandma Death represents death in its natural form, Frank is more the representation of the fear of death, which can be an even more powerful force than death itself if one allows this fear to govern their actions. Donnie allows this fear of death to govern him, and it's only when he finally looks beyond this fear can he kill his nihilistic worldview. One could say Donnie does this near the end, but it could be argued he never really finds a perfect understanding of death. He nonetheless makes peace with it, but seems to struggle on full acceptance. By the end of the movie, we realize whether you accept death or don't accept death, it comes for you either way. That may sound ominous, but the more we can turn ourselves to accepting death for what it is, the closer we can get to living a life worthwhile. When death comes closer to Donnie and he realizes his nihilistic actions haven't served him as well as he hoped, he finally turns things around and decides to have a kinder spirit. He helps console his teacher after getting fired. He gives a schoolmate a pep talk. He makes amends with all his family members. When death comes close to knocking, he no longer has to worry about it and can instead accept it for what it is, thus allowing Donnie to be one who speaks truth, but also to do so with kindness. As some of you may know by now, I like to end a lot of these videos with a Stoic passage, which I'm definitely going to do. But before we do that, we want to delve into something also Stoic related, and that is, of course, memento mori. We can recognize how the main theme of Donnie Darko is essentially memento mori. Remember, you're going to die, but just because you're going to die doesn't mean you have to be a dick about it. Contemplate your own mortality, and then use this acknowledgement to get you to do what needs to be done. And what needs to get done is what is kind, courageous, and thoughtful. Or as Marcus Aurelius puts it, possibilities. 1. To keep on living. You should be used to it by now. 2. To end it. It was your choice after all. 3. To die, having met your obligations. Those are the only options. Reason for optimism. And if you like that video, then you can check out my book where I talk about that and many other issues that might help you. It's got a title so edgy, I'm not even sure if I can say it on YouTube. So check it out in the description. And as always, if you want, you can like, subscribe, and all that other fun stuff. More videos coming, of course.